Hi, everyone. Today is a day for me to give you another weekly tutorial, weekly inspiration. And what I plan to do is I take you to my desk where I do my craft. Can you see how messy it is? And share with you the things that I'm doing right now and hoping that you could really relate to what I'm doing and you have a need for what I'm making also. So today is a day that I'm going to make a birthday card. And I think most of you know I really like to use birthday cakes and make cards. So I've already done a couple other tutorials on this with cakes. And this time I'm going to come up with a new card with a cake. And I have a couple of birthdays this month, and I bet you do too, right? And so when I get this brainstorm or get the motivation to want to do a birthday card, I usually make 2 or 3 at one time so I could give it away as well as have some on hold. And I'm not really sure what size the right card is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do make an A2 birthday card. A2 card is a standard size and standard size card. So I'm just going to do, let's say, this is 4 inches by 5 inches. But you could make yours any size you like. But I kind of like this size. So that's what I'm going to do today. And I kind of did a rough sketch of a birthday card, a birthday cake on a platter. So I kind of want to show you how my thought pattern works when I do that. I like to pick a card size about the size of my that I'm using. I have an idea of how big I do this right here to draw kind of a mock of how I start a birthday cake. So I started by using a let's see, square. That's how my cake begins. And in fact, I probably will use a color that's something that you could see, right? So that, why don't I use orange? I think you'll be able to see this better. So here's a square for a birthday cake. And then for the platter underneath that, I'm going to use the oval circle. And you know that I always make everything from circles and squares and these basic shapes. That way it gets you, really kind of gives you a framework to work from. Now I'm going to put the stem of this cake platter. And I'm going to draw the stem this way. And then this will be sitting on a table. So I think I will draw something like that. I'm just going to draw a line right there. And then I'm going to do top of the cake. And at the top of the cake, again, I'm going to draw another oval shape right on top of that line. Now, can you see how I created that oval on top of the cake? And then I'll probably will do some trimmings on the cake. So it's very random. And then I will put some candles on top of the cake. So this is my basic design. And I do this on a piece of paper, index paper or whatever, and I draw this to begin with. Then it'll give me an idea of how I could do my real card. Okay, so now I take my real card, which is about this size, and I'm going to look at this and say, okay, how could I draw this? And I'm just going to use, well, you could actually use a pencil, or you could use color pencil or whatever you like. But today I'm going to use a pencil. So I'm going to start off by drawing a very light square. And I want to make sure I place this cake in the right place. And then I'm going to draw the oval shape for top of the cake. And I'm just wondering if I should make this cake a little bit larger. I think I will. So I'm just going to go ahead and expand this cake out a little bit. So I'm going to make the square a little bit wider. And a little bit wider. And I am doing this right from scratch. So I hope you don't mind because I'm experimenting myself. It's nothing practiced or anything. It's just kind of an idea that I came up with and I wanted to do it. So I'm just going to draw this cake a little bit larger. And I'm going to draw the circle, oval circle above it. And believe me, it's not going to be perfect, but it's okay. And then I'll put the candles on top of it a little bit later. But I want to get this basic. Now I draw the oval again. And that is the cake platter. On the platter. Okay, so here's my basic design. I hope you can see it. It's very simple. You start with a square, oval, and you always use that as a starter. Now I'm just going to go ahead and erase some of this. I don't want the pencil mark to be too dark, but I know just about approximately where I put everything. So I'm okay with erasing a lot of it with just a real faint mark showing on the bottom. Because once you know what this pencil mark can once you. Okay, so I erased everything off. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm just going to draw the top of the cake first. And usually I always pick a color palette to use, but today I'm not. I'm just going to get something out of my, and I'm going to be using not real thick. So I'm going to draw the top of the cake. I'm just going to wet this down. And I don't want it to be just real perfect because cakes aren't real perfect, right? So here's the top of the cake. And I'm just going to make it a little bit wobbly. Okay. Now I'm going to take, this is still wet. So yeah, I think I'll still go ahead and do it. I'm going to take, I think maybe, I don't know, I might try yellow. Not sure, but I think I will. It might have a lemon frosting or something on it. I'm going to do yellow and maybe a little bit of creamy color. What is this color called? This is called John Brilliant. This is kind of a skin color. So I'm going to add that onto the yellow so it becomes more creamier. Sorry, I have my little snack sitting right here. I'm gonna move that and move this in a little bit closer so you can see me mixing. Yellow becomes a little creamier. Now I'm going to take my brush. I'm gonna wet it down pretty good. And I'm going to do the bottom part of the cake. And I'm going to be real careful that I don't really touch the top part that I've already done. Here's the bottom. So all I'm doing is just kind of dipping my brush in the water. And really, I hardly use any color in here and it just looked really good, doesn't it? And remember how cakes look, okay? It's just not, we started out with a square, but it doesn't have to be a perfect square, really. Okay, here's the bottom of the cake. I'm gonna turn this light on, maybe you can see a little bit better. All right, so I have pale creamy yellow and I have pale pink on top. Now I'm going to do the platter. What would be, I have some green here, so I'm going to use that. And mix in a little bit of I'm taking it from this little pastel color that I have here. I'm not sure what you call this. I'm just going to mix it with that to create a little bit more of a creamier green. Now I like that color, so I'm just going to go ahead, dip my brush, and I'm going to go around the edge. And I'm going to paint this platter. And I don't want this cake platter to be really dark either, so I'm just barely kind of touching the edge, but that's fine. But you have to make sure you get plenty of water on your brush so you can spread this color easier. One of the mistakes that people make is always use the watercolors too dark. And when you use it too dark, then it's hard to make it look natural and pretty and pastel color like how birthdays should look. There. And I'm going to wet the bottom of this pedestal. And I'm going to paint that in. Wow, I love this color. It's beginning to look lovely, don't you think? It's really pretty, the color. Kind of feels like I'm in a little bakery store. Okay, there's the pedestal. And then now I have to figure out, okay, I'm going to sit this on a table. So I might make, and I don't want to make the table really dark either. I'm just going to keep all the colors really light. So I'm going to use this buff white and mix that color right here. And I might just add just a little, and it's fun about, what's fun about mixing these colors is that you could just kind of add a little bit. I'm just using a little bit of olivey green or tan that I have here. And I like that. So I'm going to put water on it. Now I'm going to use this to paint the table. And again, dip it in water really good so your water is painted, is really flows on the paper. And dip it in water again. And then I come up to the top here, and I'm going to do it right up to this point. Now you're creating a background which is really makes the plate stand out. Water, more water. More water. I love these watercolors because it just flows with water. It's so soothing to use this as coloring tool. I'm going to take that one part and I'm going to come right across and set the tabletop right there, the same thing as the other side. I'm just wondering if we need this a little bit closer down, if you could see it better. Okay. There we go. Now you have the bottom. Now I want to put some candles on top of this cake. So you can put as many candles as you like. But I'm just going to go ahead and take a, oh, I don't know, maybe I'll take a, this color here, and I'm just going to add 1, 2, 3, 4. I think maybe I'll stop at 4. Now I'm going to choose a color, and if you like to, I mean, if you want to, you could use any color you like for, let me draw it in first so that you could see what I'm doing. I'll use a colored pencil though, okay? I'm just gonna go right here is 1, right here is 2, and right here is 3, and right here is 4. All right, now I'm gonna take my watercolor and if I could put in something, I'm just using a bunch of old colors that I have left. I'm just gonna mix that into this tan and see if I could make a color of, maybe put some yellow. And I want to make it a little bit deeper. So I'm just going to dab this little blue in here and just kind of do that. I don't know if I like that or not. I don't think so. I think that's a little bit too dark. I'm going to take this off and I'm going to start again with maybe using a little bit of green. And I still like the idea of putting a little bit of a deeper color in here so the candles will stand up. So I put a little bit of indigo blue in here that was left over in my plate. Now I'm just going to go and draw the candles in. Okay, here are my 4 candles. And then I'm going to take some yellow and a little bit of this deeper yellow. And I'm going to paint the little flames. Dab, 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 dab. Okay, so now I have some flames going. And let me see, now I want to do some kind of a background color here. And so I'm going to take a little bit larger brush. What do I have here? I have this brush here, I'm just gonna, let me see, what color do I want the background to be? Maybe I'll make the background with some kind of a blue. Let's see if that'll work. Water again. And I'm going to add the blue. Water, get this part nice and wet. Let's go in here with the blue. Wow, this looks like a nice little piece of painting. It's beautiful. And it's about kind of learning to use the right colors on all your pieces. I take this pointed part of the brush and I'm going to go up between the candles. There. Now we have a nice background. Can you see? I don't know why it kind of feels like it's dark to me here today, but I'm sitting right in front of a window, so I don't know why it would be dark. Maybe it's some of these pencil cases that's getting in the way. When I move some of those, I think you'll lighten up. Yeah, it did lighten up. All right, so here we go. Now let's see. What I'm going to do is I want to create some more interest in this cake, and I don't want to keep dabbing more colors on top. So what I'm going to do is do something different. And I will show you what I'm going to do. Do you have deli papers? I make all these little markings from deli paper. Yeah, my box of deli paper. You get a huge box like this. I ordered it on Amazon. 500 sheets of deli paper. So I have tons and tons. And they're almost like little wax papers, and the restaurants use them to wrap sandwiches and things like that. Well, deli papers make wonderful collage papers. And so I painted this with color mixed with golden matte medium, not water, just matte medium. And it makes it very streaky and pretty. So I just, whenever I have some time, I go and I'm always painting these. And it doesn't matter what it is, I just paint them. Doesn't make a big mess. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these and see if it will fit onto my cake. Let me see about these. I'm going to try one of these. And if I could find my little scissors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this cake. Let's see. Let me take one of these right here. And then I'm going to create a strip of paper. And try to make a decoration for this cake that kind of makes it stand out. Okay. So I'm just going to tear it off at the sides. This side up. I'll put that one right down here. And right next to the cake, I want something that's not quite as, the fun thing about these is that you could take these they don't look really even, right? And that's what's so fun about it. I'm gonna pick something that has a little bit more faded feel to it, maybe right here. And I'm going to cut another piece out, see what that would look like. And I'm gonna make it kind of like wobbly little lines. I love collaging because it just really adds so much more interest to your artwork. You know, it's if you just do one-dimensional work, it's pretty hard to make any certain parts stand out unless you paint it real thick. This way you could paint all the paints pretty thin and pretty pale, and then you could add something that will really help to bring out the colors and the texture. I don't know if you've ever seen anybody do this before, but I love doing this. So here's my first piece. And my second piece, I might want to change it around just a little bit. Feels a little bit thick to me. So I'm just gonna thin it out. Here's 1, 2. And I just don't think that I want anything that looks really, really thick. So maybe on the bottom, I'll just get another piece from right here. And measure it out. And it's fine because it just makes it look so much more interesting. Okay, let me see how this will go on the bottom. It looks great, but it's to me, it's a little thick. There. Now I'm just going to take some of that off. Might take some of that off. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this matte medium and I'm going to take a clean brush so it doesn't get any color stains on my cake. And I'm just going to go ahead and can't have it too thick. I'm just going to go ahead and draw this glue right into the cake. Let's just try the top piece first. All right, so I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to paste it on here. And this is really fun because you could actually kind of work with it a little bit. So if it's not the right shape, you could just go ahead and push it into place. I'm going to take this and I'm going to do the middle piece. And then I'm going to do the very bottom piece. Oh my God, this is so much fun to be able to add something to what you've been doing. And yes, it's not real straight or anything like that, but it's okay. And then you just go ahead and press it down. Press it down. There you go. Now you have a cake with little strips on it. That looks like it's just little pieces of decorations on the cake, right? So then to break off the yellow part just a little bit, I'm going to put a little white line in there to kind of make it a little bit more, give it a little bit more, another layer of frosting right here. And you know, I have to say, having the right tools really makes a lot of difference in what kind of art you could, pictures you could create. And I know that we tried many, many, many white paints before, right? So, and there's wash white paint, which is good. But that pencil that I started everybody out in the beginning, I'm not happy with that. It just dries out. I'm happy with this bleed proof white by Dr. Phil Martin. This is really high coverage and it lasts for a long time. So, and that's listed in my supply list that with that link to the Amazon. Okay, so now what I want to do is create, draw some little flowers on the cake. So what kind of flower should we draw? You could either use markers. Let me see how the markers will go. So you have to give it a little test and see how that goes. Let me see how that goes. Oh yeah, it shows up really nice, see? So here I'm going to draw little flowers underneath the candle. With Tombow marker. And you could also do it with the watercolor, but I'm just kind of taking the fast way out because these always usually are very fast. And then I'll probably make the inside again, little dabs of white to fill the inside in. And then probably just put a little dab of white markers right there to make it look like it's frosting. And then I'm not sure here what we would do. I don't think we'd have to do anything here. I mean, I think I just maybe just a little, I'm just putting a little excess on here. It doesn't really, you can't really tell what it is, but it's just a way to kind of diffuse out that solid line and make it look like you have little pieces of frosting. There you go. Yeah. Now on the very bottom, this is where I would either put happy birthday. You could put a person's name right here. Would be really nice to put a person's name. I'm not going to put any name on it right now, but this is how you make your cards very personal. You could put right here, happy birthday, Kate, or whatever. Or you could put the happy birthday down here and put Kate's name here. I'm not going to do that right now because I'm not really sure who I want to take my time to think it through to see. And then here, I want to make it background with a little bit, kind of little empty. So I'm going to go ahead and just take some leftover red paint that I have sitting here. And I'm just going to make like little confettis. Square confettis. With red. Just a minute, let me close the door so my dog won't come in here until I finish my class, because she's always wanting attention. And so here's a little red confettis. And That really adds a nice little touch, doesn't it? And then I'm gonna add maybe something, maybe a little green. So I'm just going to take just kind of a deep forest green. And I'm going to add confetti. And when you have something real pastel, it's really nice to just have some dark pieces in here, you know, so it just makes it really stand out. And then the other one I use might be, I think I'm going to use yellow. I use kind of a goldy yellow. And I'm just going to go ahead and add that in. It looks like confetti's flying around, right? There, I think this is it. And you're welcome to do whatever you like. You know, get creative. I mean, if you want to add some white, you could also add white like right here. If you think that this looks a little bare, you could just go ahead and add white here. To give the plate some personality. There. Then sometimes I think I overdo things, you know, but I just can't seem to leave it alone. So I may take my ink marker and try to give it a little bit of outline to my candles. And you're not going to do it real thick. I'm just going to do kind of one side to make the candles kind of stand out. Yeah, you could overdo these things and then you'll ruin your, just here and there. So the candles. And then I might just do a little bit here on the side. And I get nervous when I do this because sometimes I overdo it. And so I just try to do here and there just to show the outline just a little bit. Not a whole bunch. Do we need any at the bottom? I'm not sure. Maybe can't go too overboard. I think I'm going to call this done. Just a little bit. Here it is. This is your painted birthday card. And then it would be lovely if you could put it on this color. I have this color background. And I'm going to pin it right, paste it right on here, glue it on here. And then I'm going to give it as a nice little birthday card with a little matching envelope. So this is it for today. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. And I really want you to try this because it is really fun. And just remember the shapes that I showed you. All you do is start from square, oval, oval, and a pedestal. That's all you need. Okay? All right. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.